get on to this thing too about nigger since I've mentioned the word, because people go, oh, he said nigger, 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 nigger. Yeah, I say nigger all the time. And I mean exactly that. From as long as I could, what's his name did the Africans in Asia. I'm at 15 minutes. It's beautiful. That brother did Africans in Asia, right? And he said, oh, nigger naga. We've been this way all the time. We just denying it ourselves. All you Christians who hate the word nigger, look it up in the Chronicles of Antioch and some Bible story there. I know they mention Antioch and they mention a couple of brothers. I used to know their name. But they were called niggers. I got that from a Klansman, a Ku Klux Klansman, not Kluk, it's Ku. Anyway, Ku Klux Klansman. He said, nigga, we call you niggers because we Christians. And it's in the Bible. They were called niggers. Y'all were teachers. He told me, a Klansman. That's what it meant. That's what we were known worldwide. The brothers say Naga in the East. Oh, and another thing, we could just say this as an aside. We are Easterners, right? We are Oriental. The original Oriental is us. And okay, so now we are not, because we've become westernized with the Islam and what's that other thing? Islam and Christianity and even Judaism. And it's all Judaism. When you get it down, they all go back to, them three are just branches of a tree. They all go back to Moses, right? So I call it So I call it the Abrahamic religions. I just get over that. And then people don't get mad when I say it's all Judaism. Okay. And then instead of us looking back to what we were doing, and what we were doing before we came into this Christendom of Judaism, what were we doing? We don't want that. We want to say we were doing all kind of things that we are not particularly proud of, because we have Western values now. So a man not being married to a woman and living together, we might see that as something else because we have been socialized in Western values. We see a man go to a tree and pray or meditate or whatever you want to call it, but he do something there that is of a spiritual nature. And we want to say he's this and that because that's how we've been socialized into seeing things. Okay. So we could take all that socialization and keep it or throw it away. That's true. However, it's not just on the physical side. Once again, it's spiritual, right? So now let's tell me something. Why there are no children in America? It's actually illegal to name a child Hitler. And I'll tell you why. Because everybody knows the power of a name, right? Even the niggas in that roots, whatever thing, used to walk around talking about, I'm going to name my child after you, massa. He get your name. That ought to be worth something to you. How is it worth something to him if it's of no, a name is of no value? Of course it's of value. Now he can live through that child. We all know that's what this whole thing is about, living through the next generation. That's why we have generation. Now we're going to give our next generation their name, calling their spirits down to our physical bodies. For years, for days, and chastising the church. Didn't you hear me call you? Traumatizing that spirit into the body. You must, because it's unknown to the body. And even when the guy came out with that crapola, I call it crapola because that's what I call it, about the exes with the black Muslims and stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, and that's a whole nother story. I need a lot more times for them niggas there. Okay, so let me continue on this line of simple 3, which is the matrix, the creator, and us. In that, the matrix is what it is. That's the creation. It is whether you like it or not, don't matter. It ain't bad or good. You like it or you don't like it. Get off that bad and good crapola. Get into whether you like it or you can see the value in it or you cannot. Okay, so fine. Whether it's, correct or incorrect. To you, it's an inside. So now you got to reevaluate your values. So, okay, fine. Do that. because most of your values were taken at when you were a child. And they were introduced to you under traumatic circumstances, and you were a child. Now look at those decisions as an adult. This is a lot we fail to do. We go by with this social contraption as though that's very important. John Clark, I just saw him again with Balo Shogun or some guy like that, whatever. But I really respect the guy we know as John Henry Clark. All right. He said, we busy making this thing happen. We just got to get in and, know we driving and determine where we're going, because we're doing it. And that's what's up. So I leave you with that. We must get into a habit. The best way I found it, he said, in order to change the world, you must change yourself. That's it. Okay, everybody knows that now. So now what? What I'm saying is this. In order to get into a habit of telling the truth and recognizing the truth, which is the beauty of telling the truth, is to always tell yourself the truth. Always keep your promises to yourself. You promise yourself something, I'm going to do this, if that happens, all that kind of garbage like that. I ain't saying don't do it. I'm saying if you say that stuff to yourself, do it. And I can tell you, when I started doing that, I stopped saying a lot of stuff I'm going to do, because I was obligated to do it. So I was more responsible about what I promised myself. It made me more responsible about what I promised everyone else, my children, anything. Because now my word, my understanding of my word is the power. And there's a power in the word. If you want your word to be powerful, it must have truth. I know people tell me this. They say, oh yeah, the Bible got a lot of truth in it. But I defy you to tell me one lie that doesn't. You cannot. Every lie of any value, if it's going to be in any way believable, it must be flooded with truth. Mm-hmm. This, in order to make an impression, one must also simultaneously in order to make a deep and lasting impression, one must simultaneously, this is through physics, one must simultaneously make a deep and lasting depression in order to make an impression.